Well, I've been looking forward to this for a while. As I mentioned earlier, Nick Calandra of Hearts for the Homeless in studio, the newest partner and sponsor both of the Breakfast Blend and of the Pregame. I'm super excited for this. A Western New York ministry right here in our own backyard that's been around for, I believe, about 30 years. But, Nick, how are you doing, man? Thank you for being here.
Man, it is so good to be with you, and love being on both of the programs. This is so awesome.
It is, and it's unique, and I love the fact that we get to hit two different audiences. Obviously, Saturday mornings, 8 to 10, Saturday afternoons, 4 to 6, but it could be completely different audiences of people who are listening, getting in their car, maybe making breakfast or getting ready for dinner.
Yeah.
But this is an opportunity for us here on the radio to promote what God is doing through the work of Hearts for the Homeless. And as I mentioned, you've been around for about 30 years, but you're a completely different ministry now than what you were 30 years ago. And I want to give you a chance, Nick, to just relay to the listeners what God has been doing through this incredible ministry, because so much is happening.
It's amazing to see what God is doing in the ministry. So we started in 1990, so over 30 years now.
Wow.
And at that time, we had a singular focus of our mobile soup kitchen, hitting the streets to serve the chronic homeless that were not staying in shelters, that were out living under bridges. And at that time, it was a focus on relationship building. And that relationship building has carried throughout the ministry to this day. And we use the food and the clothing that we distribute through the various programs that we have as a way to meet people's physical needs. And it's also a way to start a conversation with someone. And what we can do there is build a relationship, share the gospel. And what we're seeing is offering people the most life-changing opportunity, which is the hand up by leading people to Christ.
Amen.
And so the ministry does a lot of work with feeding thousands and tens of thousands, and over its history, hundreds of thousands of meals. And using our clothing donation bins and our thrift store as a way to meet people's needs physically with clothing, shoes, and blankets. But ultimately, these are all conduits to start having conversations with people, seeing where they are in their life, bring hope to people, show them the love of Jesus through our actions, but then really share the gospel and connect with folks. And it's just amazing to see what is happening throughout the ministry in all the different parts. So the early days of the Mobile Soup Kitchen continues on. That program operates 5 days a week. We serve at the downtown library, and we'll serve anywhere from 50 to 80 people a night at the Mobile Soup Kitchen. And then we're using our commercial kitchen to feed 2 of the homeless shelters in Buffalo 7 days a week. So this commercial kitchen has been in our operation since the late 90s. And more recently, we've used it and leveraged it to expand upon our ability to serve. And so now we're serving hundreds of meals a night through the homeless shelter, over 100 meals a night to these 2 homeless shelters, 7 days a week. And that's been a phenomenal opportunity and a great partnership with other organizations that exist that have folks coming to their doors, and we can use our resources and share in what God has provided us as a ministry. And that's just been a really fantastic partnership and opportunity. And a couple of years ago, we started our Hearts Harvest Food Pantry.
Yes.
And so you were over this summer and saw the building when we dedicated this new space. And that
Beautiful building, by the way.
Man, the donors that supported this project and caught on to the vision that we were sharing with them is what made it possible. But we wanted to elevate what we were doing, which was serving a food pantry out of a garage space, into this food pantry now that is client choice. You push your shopping cart around, you pick the items that you want to eat and cook with and prepare for your family. And then past that now, we're taking it to the next level. We're preparing little samples for folks so they can see how they could cook the different things that are in the pantry. Because it can be intimidating where you see foods that you're maybe not familiar with, or things that aren't as necessarily quick to prepare, like open a can and heat it up type food, but that are really easy to prepare when someone can help kind of guide you through that. And I know when I do my own personal meal prep or try to prep for the week for lunches and stuff, it can be a daunting task. So we've been helping, with the meal prep and using the space that we have in the food pantry, not only to provide the groceries that people need, but then show them a little bit of how you could use these different items to make some meals. So that's been fantastic. We have the Redemption Center center happening now on the campus, so you can come in and return your cans and bottles. And we're offering 6 cents a can and bottle for those that redeem same day and come into our thrift store. And that's made possible through the proceeds we receive as a processor. So Hearts for the Homeless still is benefiting, even though we're giving that extra penny. And that goes a long way for folks in our community, and really anybody for that matter, because everything, as you know, just continues to be going up and up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow. So that extra penny helps out, and then folks come on into the thrift store. So just all sorts of different things happening. We operate the mobile food pantry every fourth Wednesday of the month, which is a pretty special thing. So in our neighborhood there in Riverside, we've brought that onto our campus now, because we have those 2 buildings adjoined by our parking lot, and we're serving the community through a partnership with Feed More of Western New York. And you don't have to live in our zip code to benefit from that service.
You can come from anywhere?
Come from anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, and we do. We get folks that will travel to come to that, and that shows the great need that's out there.
Yeah.
And then also we're giving additional things other than just the food that's provided from Feed More. We're giving out blankets and a variety of other stuff that gets donated to the ministry throughout the weeks.
Nick, I think you guys need to do a little bit more. I don't think you're doing enough. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And I wasn't kidding when I said, God is on the move through the ministry of hearts. But I want to bring it back for a moment to what you said about, you can give somebody clothing, you can give somebody a warm meal, but all of that is really only a starting point or a connecting point in forming a relationship with them, building trust, building that relationship to the point where you've earned the right to speak the truth of Jesus into their lives. And that's what this is all about. At the end of the day, this is an opportunity for our listeners this morning, this afternoon, whenever you may be hearing this interview, to get on board with not just a one-time donation, but maybe becoming a monthly giving partner to the Ministry of Hearts for the Homeless in truly building this into what God has designed it to be. Who are we to limit what the ceiling is for Hearts?
I love that you just said that, because we've been having that conversation internally as an organization. We said if we thought we were going to be minor league baseball and we're feeling that the organization is going to a different level, who are we to limit that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to limit that as the organization's leader. I can't say what God has in store for us, and I'm not going to put the cap on what he has intended for this ministry. We've been praying for over a decade. Enlarge our territory. Allow us to do more. Provide us the resources. And it's happening. And so that's causing us as an organization to get sharper in all sorts of different areas. And we are up to the task, and the team is embracing that, and new volunteers are coming on board, bringing new skills and new passions to the ministry. We have just so many different things that are kind of branching out as a result, I believe, of us saying, who are we to limit what God has in store for the people that we can reach and what this ministry can do.
And we know that we serve the God of the impossible. If he can split the Red Sea, if he can raise the dead to life, he can use an organization like Hearts to reach the lost in Western New York.
He's just using us to do that.
Amen.
It's all his. We're managing these resources, these donations that folks are going to make to Hearts for the Homeless. You're giving back to God. This is his kingdom. This is his ministry. We're managing it for him. We don't own this. This is his. And we're just stewarding all these resources and getting them to the people that are in need. And we're out there meeting these needs that we see and sharing the word with folks. And it's made possible through the partnerships that we develop that, again, come through him. Amen. So as you listen today and you think about partnering with us and considering an ongoing monthly donation or using one of our red clothing donation bins, it all matters to us. We don't look at any donation as, oh, that's a small donation. Every donation matters.
Well, it reminds me of the saying that many drops make a mighty ocean. Like every single donation, every single piece of clothing, every single minute spent volunteering, it all matters.
We're a grassroots ministry.
Correct.
We started with nothing in 1990.
Yeah.
I keep the first year's audit on my desk. A couple $100.
Yeah.
That was the annual budget. Right? And going back to the pop cans, the early founders collected pop cans at Kingdom Bound to raise money for the ministry.
Wow.
Now we have a can and bottle redemption center where we're generating ongoing revenue for the ministry through recycling pop cans. So it's like when you hear, oh, they have a can recycling, how does that fit in? Well, we've learned really effectively how to recycle textiles and how to make that a benefit to the ministry. And then we look back and say what helped us along the way, and it's also recycling. It's a really good fit. Mm-hmm. And then when you look at how it fits into our campus with the cafe that's going to be coming and the pantry that's operating, just as listeners go to the grocery store, all of those services exist.
Yeah.
Right? You get a cup of coffee when you go to get groceries. You can return your cans and bottles all in one facility. And we want to offer that in Riverside where there's a great deal of need. And we want the campus itself to be a shining example of God's glory. Like the campus should be beautiful. And it is.
God's kingdom on the move.
Yes.
And what he's doing in and through the people of Western New York as he uses hearts. It's
Yeah.
so cool. And there's so much more to talk about. And we will in the days and weeks ahead, Nick, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for partnering with me here, both on the Breakfast Blend and on the Pregame, making all of this possible to make the name of Jesus famous while we partner together to help grow the ministry of hearts.
I love that we got to kick this off today. You know, this is so great. You know,
absolutely.
Getting the listeners, you know, excited about Hearts for the Homeless and learning more information on the website. That's great. And it's going to be just an ongoing effort of connecting and sharing what's happening. And as new and exciting things come up, because we have a lot of things, as you said, you know, you want to be busier. Well, God's got a lot happening within the ministry. And we look so forward to sharing that with the listeners right here on WDCX about what's happening. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be sharing some of that exciting news of new programs that are coming. And it's going to be wonderful.
For sure. And if you want to get on board today, or just if you're curious and you want to learn more, go to heartsforthehomeless.org/WDCX. That's heartsforthehomeless.org/WDCX. Nick, thank you so much for your time, and we will be in touch in the future, man.
Love it. Thank you.